I gotta shampoo and set my hair. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've gotten a lot of requests just in person, or just not a lot of requests, but a lot of people coming to me and they're like, oh my gosh, how do you get your hair so nice and, you know, with the body and the control and, you know, the style and all that stuff. And I say I use a round brush and a blow dryer. I'm coming on here today to show you how I do it. It's not necessarily how everybody else does it themselves, but this is just a way to show you how you can walk out of your house round brushed with body and shine and have it all nice and smooth and controlled, just like you were coming out of a salon. Over the years, they're just like, I just don't know how to do it and all this stuff, and I would love to show them how I do it myself. I'm coming on here to show you guys how I do it. It's pretty easy for me. It will take some practice to kind of get a system, kind of get your arms working the way you need them to, get that brush and really control where that brush goes. That's what I'm going to do today. And this is what I was left with today. And I'm going to show you how I did it. So stay tuned. All right, so let's get started. I have my head wrap on, which I'm going to take off. These are really good to soak up all that extra moisture that you get. Before I comb out my hair, which is a really big mess right now, I'm going to use the Soy Tri-Weight Leave-In. This is my favorite leave-in conditioner. I had strayed from it once before and then I went right back. So we're just gonna spray this on all over. Really, you could use a lot of that and it's not gonna leave you greasy, which is awesome. I mean, if you use the whole bottle, then yeah, you may get a little greasy or just like a weird film on your hair, but you know, I don't know who's dumping their whole bottle on their head at once. I'm also using a really wide tooth comb to comb out my hair. No brushing your hair while it's wet. While it's wet. You'll just tear it all out with that. So you want to use a really big wide tooth comb. Even if you have a lot of hair, wide tooth combs and this stuff is going to make a world of difference. So now that we have our hair all nice and combed out, I'm going to use the Pureology Strength Cure on my ends. This is also just a really light leave-in that you can just put on your ends. It's a split end mender, but it just kind of moisturizes that area a little bit more. You don't need a ton of leave-in on your scalp, only because your scalp is, I mean, as long as it's healthy, I guess. You don't need a whole lot of leave-in up there. It creates its own oils and stuff, so just a little bit up there, like the spray on leave-in, and then maybe a little bit more concentrated on your ends. So now that we have that in there, and I've had a lot of breakage lately, guys, so that's why I really like moisturize up my hair, just to kind of keep it from not breaking as much. Now I'm going to use Root Pump Plus. This will go on my roots, but because I have some breakage down here, right on the sides, more on this side, that was an accident. I'm going to keep it off of that. This stuff is pretty powerful and it can be very drying if you know, which I realized because I use it every day, but I had to kind of give it a rest on the sides. So you can see I'm putting it about an inch away from my scalp. You don't want to really put it on your scalp because that'll just make your scalp nice and it'll build up on your scalp and then kind of make it even more greasy if you don't wash your hair every day. So you kind of want to keep it off of that. And just kind of mess it around in there. I'm going to do the crown area and all the way down the back and just a little bit right in the corners back here. And mess it up a little bit. So that's our Root Pump Plus. A lot of products, guys, a lot of products. When you have fine hair, you want to use some that'll kind of get your volume like I do. Next, we're going to use the Style and Care Pureology, the volume one. This stuff is awesome. It's dual chambered, and you have like a care formula that kind of puts some, like, bonds your hair back together, and there's a styling cream in there as well. And kind of want to shake it down, and you want to make sure that it comes out at the same time. I kind of wish it was not in one, but that they put like, I kind of wish they would have put like one container, but have like 2 pumps. That way you can get both at the same time instead of relying that that's gonna come out at the same time, because sometimes it always doesn't. So I'm gonna just mix that together. I'm actually gonna flip my head over and massage it into my hair and kind of scrunch it into my hair just so it gets kind of evenly distributed. And just kind of massage it into my scalp a little bit. So you scrunch it in first and then get in your scalp and kind of massage it around like you would conditioner or shampoo. And there. Nicely distributed. All right, so now I'm going to separate my bangs out. Pretty close, and then I just kind of fluff them up a little bit so it's easier to get around the round brush. Now we're going to take our blow dryer and our smaller round brush, and we're going to blow dry the bangs. I always do this first because if I don't, then my bangs get all kind of funky afterwards, so get them done first and then go back and do the rest. Kind of heat up the brush a little bit before you put it in. Get a good even distribution on the brush and twist and blow dry. Kind of split it in half just so I don't get any weird like bends or anything like that. Yeah, really big 80s bangs. All right, now I'm gonna give them a nice comb through. Kind of spread them out a little bit. Just kind of get them out of my face for a little bit. And then I'm gonna spray them. Don't worry, they're not staying like this. But, I mean, if that's your thing, then you could obviously just keep them like this. Just give them a light spray so they don't fall. Okay, now for the rest of it. So we got our bangs done. And I'm going to separate my hair. Granted, my hair is about 50% dry, which is kind of what you want for this. And I'm gonna take a section going from the top of my ear and all the way around. And then we're going to clip that out of the way. So now we have this bottom section, which we're going to dry and curl all at the same time. I'm taking my bigger brush for this one. And here we go. And you want to be lifting up and away from the scalp when you do this. That's where your body's gonna come in. So you can see how lifting it up and away from the scalp kind of gives you that lift right there, as opposed to, and this side there's been nothing done. So you can already see, here I'll move this piece out of the way. So you can already see that that body is starting to build, as opposed to this side, which is just laying flat. Granted, it's wet over here, but you can see if I were to just leave this the way it is, it would just stay like that. But now we have this nice, and it looks fuller and a lot of body in there. So you can kind of see that I was bringing the back around to the front so I can get that back, but you're always going to want to kind of grab that back piece anyways. So I just kind of reach my hands back there, grab a section, put my brush underneath it with whatever hand you're most comfortable with, and really get in there and lift it up, get it in those bristles, and put your blow dryer back there. And then let it drop. And then bring it back around, just until it's 100% dry. Feel it, make sure it's nice and dry in there, and there you go. Alrighty, we're a quarter of the way done. So now I'm gonna bring down the next section. I'm gonna go from my temples back. clip that out of the way. And you're drying all these sections till it's 100% dry. So you know, just kind of put your fingers through it, make sure you don't have any wet spots or anything like that. And we're almost done. You can just see how better it lays. And don't mind my broken pieces on the side. They kind of get hidden once it's all done. So for this section up here, this is the top, this is your crown, this is one of the most important spots. I'm actually going to split this in two horizontally. And so we have two sections here. I'm gonna put this one off to the side and just focus on this back one right here. This is where you're gonna get most of that hump, that body that you're looking for at the crown. So you can see how, yeah, that gives you some lift right there, right? I'm actually, before I move on to the next section, I'm gonna take my smaller brush just to give it a little extra bend up here, just to give it a little extra curl. And then marry it into the rest. Right, last section, same thing. And marry those two sections that you just did together. And then you kind of want to dry it the direction that you want it to go. It's pretty much where it's gonna lay. What I'm gonna do now is go over my bangs again and, you know, put them to the side and style them and style it into the rest of my hair. When I do this too, I kind of look where my bangs are gonna part that day. Sometimes it's over more, sometimes it's kind of in the middle, but today we're gonna do it kind of off to the side, but not like a swoop or too deep of a part. And so that's gonna determine where my part is on the rest of my hair. So I'm just gonna take where it parted and just kind of drag it back a little bit more and part the rest of my hair where it's gonna go. And make sure that I still have my crown right there. All right, now that we're all dry, child and we have our body and it looking good, right? Like, could you, and that was so easy. I know it's gonna take some practice. It took me some practice. It's just kind of figuring out the system for you and what's gonna work for you. All right, what I'm gonna do to finish this off, I'm going to take the crown area. I'm gonna pump it up a little bit with some light teasing, and then down another section with some teasing. It's hard to do this in a small mirror, but that's okay. Just kind of flip those back a little bit. I'm gonna do the sides, just a touch on the sides, just a little back comb, maybe a little right there. Just wherever you want some extra lift and for it to stay a little bit longer. Just a little bit right there and a little bit right there. So you can see that after I tease that a little bit, I kind of put the comb through just the surface, just so it's nice and smooth. And then I'm gonna spray this, spray the bottom. With spray and play harder. This is my favorite hairspray. If you've seen my other videos, my beauty anxiety videos, I go into a little more depth into the spray and play and the root pump and the soy tri-wheat leave-in. So you can get some more info on that there. I'm also gonna take some Sexy Hairspray clay. This is gonna go right up here, just on the roots of where I teased. So just right around this area. And then we're gonna let that dry for a minute. So that's dry enough. You just want it kind of, it's a texture, it's a spray clay, so it's a texture spray, just to kind of give it some dirt up there, if you will. Just kind of keeps it all day. And I just kind of like lightly use my fingers to lay it down without going through the top where I teased. Just kind of, you know, lightly combing it out a little bit just so it lays nice. And then the next one down, or the top one. Kind of feeling back there. Now, if you're in a bathroom and you have one of the medicine chests, this is kind of what I do in the morning. If I have, my medicine chest has a mirror also on it, so I kind of like pull it out just to kind of see if there's any like holes in the back, making sure it's all smooth and down, making sure it has a nice shape from the side. If anybody's looking at me from the side and I have a nice, you know, a nice little hump right here and it curves down. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's kind of what I look for. And then once I'm satisfied, I give it a nice spray all over. This stuff is really great too because, yes, when you first spray it in, you don't really want to put your, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm doing right now, but you don't want to sit there and like drag it through. That's not what you want. You want it to be nice, and you don't want to separate it unless you want a PC look. I mean, that's something totally different. But I just give it a nice all over spray so it doesn't go anywhere. just kind of smooth it down a little bit. Now the cool thing about this hairspray is that, yes, I tend to leave it where it's at for about 5 minutes. And once that 5 minutes is up and it's completely dried, then you can kind of start going through and putting your fingers through it, maybe calming it down a little bit, making it move a little bit more. But once you do that, it's gonna lock it, this stuff locks it in. So you can still, it's still movable and it's still very a strong hold, but it does move and it will keep the style all day long. With my bangs here, I'm obviously not gonna keep them like that. I just take a comb and I feather them back like that, just so they're out of my way. Right there. And then this one. Just to give it a nice side bang right there. And then I go through, put my hand up so it holds the style. And I spray those. And then one last spray for good luck. Now, I'm gonna let that set. So it's kind of like an old-fashioned shampoo and set. If you want to be considered an old lady, that's totally fine. I do all the time. I gotta shampoo and set my hair, which I'll probably do when I'm, you know, in my late 60s. All right, now that we're completely dry with our spray, we can kind of go through and break it up a little bit, just so it's not so coiffed. I mean, I say shampoo and set like an old lady, but I really don't want it to look like that. So I just kind of go through and break it up a little bit so it starts moving. And I usually, on this side, I like to put it behind my ear because honestly, it's probably gonna go behind my ear anyways later, so I just do it kind of as part of the style. Just to kind of break that up, make it look a little more natural. And throughout the day, it'll continue to fall and break up even more, which is fine. I expect that and I kind of plan for that. So that's why I kind of set it as best I can before I start running my hands through it. And then once I have it, once it's nice and where I need it to go, I give it one last spray. And there it will pretty much stay all day. Hopefully. If there's not a whole lot of humidity out or anything like that, but this is pretty much where it'll be and this is pretty much where it'll stay. You can see how fairly easy that was. It really helps if you're possibly a little ambidextrous. You can use kind of both hands. You just got to figure out a system for you that works for you. You can follow my system or not. It totally is up to you. But you can see how now, like, I am ready to go for the day. It's curled isn't the right word, but it's bent. There's a lot of body. It moves. It'll pretty much stay like this all day long. Maybe fall a little bit, but it'll still keep the style. That's one thing about the Spray and Play Harder that I really, really like, is I could literally go out on a very, very windy day, like a tornado or something, and I'll walk back inside and it'll pretty much go right back into place. and some of that is round brushing it and drying it where you wanted it to go. So that's That's why I always choose to round brush instead of, you know, blow drying and then putting a big curling iron through. Plus, sometimes big curling irons will give you too much curl, and I just don't want that much curl. So this is what we got. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun, it was quick, it was easy. Practice it as much as you can if that's the style that you want to do. Just think of all the possibilities. Even if I'm going to curl my hair, I still round brush it. I don't do it as precise as I did in this video. Maybe I'll break it up into 3 sections instead and just kind of roughly put a round brush through it just to get it nice and smooth and shiny, and then I can kind of go from there. Plus it puts in the body for me, and that doesn't go anywhere either. It's not so flat against my scalp. So that's how I do that. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up, leave comments. Anything else you want to add, that would be great. So happy blow drying. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye.